Hey guys, what's going on? We got another Enhancement Shaman PvE video. We are doing a 11 Ara-kara. This time we are playing Totemic Enhancement Shaman. And I know what you're saying, isn't Totemic bad or whatever? And it's honestly, from what I've done, it's been working out pretty well. But just for context here, the video is sped up by a quarter of a speed, and our tank Astrand is also not very comfortable with tanking. We kind of forced him into it, and he hasn't done many keys either, so that's why we're not doing any insane pulls or anything like that. So my overall is going to be a little bit skewed, but it is what it is. But anyways, why did I get into Totemic in the first place? Well, we were doing Ovanax prog, and after a couple pulls, I was like, man, I'm bored. So I was like, well, let's mess around because we couldn't get past the first phase. Just because we had just started it. So I was like, well, let's try and make a Totemic build. And this is what I came up with. And during the Ovanax, basically on Mythic, you wait 45 seconds-ish for the first set of ads, and then you pop everything and explode. On that first set of ads, there's a bunch of little flea things or whatever they're called, maggots, infestors, I guess, and then a couple spiders. Well, during that is when I would pop Ascendance, Doomwinds, Totem, and just Sunder spam. And I was just absolutely exploding the ads, and it was so funny. This is all recorded Wednesday night or whatever on stream. It was absolutely hilarious to me, and I don't know why, but it was. But it was causing so many number triggers that I was actually lagging out completely, which sucked, but in the end I was still like, I would skyrocket to the top of the meters so fast, and it was just funny. So that got me thinking, why don't I try it in keys? And this is actually the first key I did as Totemic, and honestly it went better than I thought. I really wasn't sure on what I was expecting. I knew it wasn't going to be bad, but I really didn't think it to be this good. And as I did more and more keys, I got better and better at placing it, timing it, and stuff like that. It felt a lot smoother and better. And now I'm actually competing with people that use stormbringer talents, which is great to me. But why does this build work? Well, if you saw the talents, I use the Ascendance buff, which increases the damage of the totem by 150%. I use the Sunder talent, where every time you Sunder, you do 200% increased damage, or your totem triggers a 200% increased proc on top of you, not the totem. On top of that, I have all the physical damage modifiers, 2 ranks of Frost Witch and physical feral spirits, as well as a couple fire modifiers, but those are in the regular tree. So why do I use physical modifiers? Is because the totem does flame strike damage. This build is entirely built off of making the totem do maximum amount of damage, and in the end it's doing about 30 to 40% of my overall, sometimes 50 depending on how big the packs are. And with nerfs coming to Chain Lightning, Lightning Bolt, and Tempest, I honestly think this build could be very good. But that probably has you thinking, what's your single target like? And I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty amazing. I really wasn't expecting it to be as good as it is, but I find Totemic has a better split AoE to single target either way. And the reason why I say that is because my single target and my AoE build are the exact same. There's no differences. But you probably notice I don't have Lava Lash. Why aren't I making use of Lava Lash? The reason why is because it sucks and I hate it. If I want to go into Lava Lash, I have to go into Elemental Spirits, and then I have to use, I get Nature Spirits, I get Ice Spirits, and they just seem useless. Now I have thought about maybe incorporating Lava Lash, but you require Hot Hands, and you don't necessarily require it, sorry, but it would be better to have it, because even though if you just have Lava Lash itself with the totem talents, and you Lava Lash, you do gain Hot Hands. The problem is, it's just a name. There's no buff to it or anything. It's literally just there. And it will trigger the sunders, but you don't gain the increased damage and you don't gain the increase or reduced cooldown, which is fine. But I just felt like, what's the point? Why don't I just keep Ice Strike and off we go, because Frost Witch is already buffing it? And then again, it's like, maybe I take it for a little bit of extra AoE, but when am I actually sundering, or not sundering, gonna be lava lashing outside of that and stuff like that? So I was just like, maybe in a later on build I will get it built in, but for now I really don't think so. But what really took me by surprise when I was testing this build and stuff like that is that the Sunder buff, when you Sunder, you do 200% increased damage from your totem. I thought that was a one-drop thing. No. You can literally spam that shit as long as Sunder is resetting. And it goes crazy. Like, you can see my burst here on the single target, and I haven't even Sundered yet. It just goes. And now that is all built into Ascendance, right? I have Ascendance up, my totem's doing massive damage, and so on and so forth. But like, it just goes ham. Like, it's amazing. I really did not think this build was going to work this well, but I don't think I'm going to be going back to Stormbringer anytime soon. I really don't think so. I am absolutely loving this. And I can understand the fact of, you know, it's an extra button and stuff like that, but honestly, with the way I've built it, it doesn't feel like that. I don't feel over bloated or anything like that. It feels really good. I have this button that does both single target, cleave, and mass AoE all in one, and no matter what scenario you're in, it's doing a lot of damage, plus all the modifiers to buff it. Same with Sunder. Now, Sunder does rely a little bit of RNG because, you know, you gotta reset it and stuff like that, but the bigger the pack, the more DPS you're gonna do. And I know what you're saying is, isn't that obvious? But what I mean is, the more you have, the more Stormbringer procs you get, which entail gives you a higher chance to reset Sunder because you're proccing so much. And that's what I mean by that. So the more you proc Sunder resets, the more damage you're gonna do, and it goes off. Like, I've gotten 4 or 5 in a row in like a 8 or 10 pack before, and I'm just deleting everything. And the totem can actually hit, so my highest hit so far from the totem without any damage buffs to a boss or anything like that is about 6 million. That's pretty darn good. Now, the reason why I'm not going back to Stormbringer at the moment, one, it is getting nerfed, which is kind of whatever to me. I really don't think it's going to take away too much. But the other reason was lining Tempest up with Primordial Wave was really annoying for me, and the reason being is because well, when it was bugged is when I first tried this build. It when you would Tempest and you trigger another Tempest, you have a chance to spend it with Arc Discharge. I know they fixed that, but that was really getting to me. It is one of the reasons why I stopped playing Stormbringer, is because of the bugs. I know they've been removed, but honestly, I've been having so much fun, and lining up Tempest with Primordial Wave is definitely annoying. And you might not know this, but if you don't line it up, you're missing out on a lot of damage. For whatever reason, unless they fixed it, Primordial Wave mixed with Tempest makes the Lightning Bolt exceed its damage limits. As to why, I'm not sure, but I've hit, and I swear to you, with no damage modifiers on the boss, I hit I think it was a 14.5 million Lightning Bolt after a Primordial Wave. And I don't know what triggers that. I know it has to do with all the nature modifiers you might have, but at the same time it can do with just Tempest itself. Tempest itself seems to be breaking Primordial Wave. And another one, the biggest one that I have, is in AoE situations, where when you're in Ascendance, you can no longer auto Tempest when your Chain Lightning is lined up during Ascendance. That pisses me off. The reason why is because when I'm in Ascendance, I'm not there to press anything but Storm Strike because it's constantly resetting. I don't want to have to hard cast the Tempest just to do it. Like, it just seems silly to me. It doesn't make any sense. And I don't understand why they made that change, but that's one of the things that annoyed me. But yeah, like, that's the reasons why I stopped playing Stormbringer. I know it's better. It probably is still better with the nerfs, but I'm just enjoying Totemic. And the combo between Surging Totem and Voltic Blaze is absolutely hilarious. Just randomly hitting everything for 2 million with a Flame Shock is funny, although technically it's a Voltic Blaze, but it's absolutely hilarious to me just seeing that. But yeah, this build is honestly a whole lot of fun. Like, just seeing everything line up, waiting for those Sunders to reset too is great. The only downside is Sunder no longer interrupts, so you have to keep that in mind. But other than that, like, I'm doing a lot of damage, as you can see. Like, no pack am I really that far behind. Like, once Sunder starts going off too, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I don't see it falling very far. I think Totemic could actually surpass it. And excuse me, once excuse me, sorry, something's in my throat. Once the nerfs come out, I think Totemic is going to get even closer to passing Stormbringer, and that's exciting to me because everything just looks good, and you don't have to change builds at all. Like, when I was doing Blackrock Depths Sunday night with my guild, which is all streamed, I was blasting everything. A single target, cleave, it didn't matter. I didn't have to change my build once. Not even once to change which I want to do. Like, the build is just so versatile that way. And I know it's really weird that we aren't making use of Lava Lash, but that's just how it goes when they make it physical damage and they make the totem itself do a significant amount of damage. All you want to do is buff it and buff it. And maybe Amplification Core might be better, but I actually don't think it is. And the reason why is because Ascendance got nerfed or changed down to a 2-minute cooldown, which is perfect. I say it's perfect because that's even more uptime on Ascendance, right? And once Root of Elements comes out, I think it'll be even better, but I'm not sure how that's going to work out. We'll see what happens with that. But when you combo Ascendance, Surging, and Sunder, like, you'll just see here, I should have already Sundered. Again, this is the first key that I've done as Totemic, so I have learned that you want to use Sunder right after a Wind Strike, and I'll explain that later in a guide. But yeah, I do plan on doing a guide sometime this week if you guys are interested. It'll be both Stormbringer and Totemic. I will do both builds because it's just fair to everybody. I want to give you guys the option to choose which one you want to do. But yeah, if you have been a Totemic lover, it's time to play it again. It's pretty awesome. It definitely is awesome. Like, I cannot believe how powerful this is and how much fun it was. When it first came out, I was a bit like, eh. And then when the rework came, I was like, okay, that's a bit more interesting, but I truly thought it was going to be very focused on Elementalist. And then they hit Primordial Wave with a massive, massive nerf. As to why, I really have no idea. I have no idea why they hit it with a massive nerf. But they did. So that killed Elementalist, I think. I don't think Elementalist is coming back anytime soon. Maybe Stormbringer Elementalist, but Ascendance is just so strong right now. I have no idea why they nerfed Primordial Wave. Honestly, I hope they remove it. I don't think it's a good addition to Enhancement at all. I'd love to see Chain Harvest or even Fey Transfusion come back. Either of those would be good. Or even in a whole new spell. Bring a whole new spell to the game. I don't care. Just, honestly, I think they should get rid of, just get rid of it. Get rid of Primordial Wave. I don't think it's really all that great. But in the long run, I think we could be seeing some Totemic gameplay coming up. I have not tested Elementalist Totemic whatsoever, and I do not wish to or want to at all. So this is like full Storm Totemic, and it's awesome. I love it. I love it. It's got such weird modifiers and everything, so it's really exciting to me that this is working, because playing Stormbringer for the first half of the season was fun, and I like Stormbringer a lot. Tempest is a very satisfying button to press. But sometimes you're just like, man, I want to do something different, right? I like when I'm playing Stormbringer, I feel like an Ellie shaman, you know, and that's not what I want. I want to feel unique, and this totem makes me feel unique. It's not me doing the damage, it's the totem doing the damage, which is hilarious to me. This one button is doing almost 50% of my overall, which is great. And there isn't really any right or wrong way to play it in a sense. There's no, oh, if you don't press Elemental Blast, you lose out on 500k DPS. No, that doesn't happen. If you don't Sunder at a certain time, you might lose like 0.1% of your DPS. That's it. Other than that, you're Storm Striking and Lightning Bolting as soon as possible to get those Surge powers. It's super easy to play. And it's fun, and it's hilarious when you see those big numbers go off. And when you get a giant pack, and Sunder is just resetting and resetting and resetting and resetting. Oh, it's so satisfying. I don't know. But yeah, my experience with Totemic so far has just been awesome. Absolutely awesome. And by the way, we did Blackrock Depths, and I was Totemic for it. But another thing is, Hand of Justice out of there is one of our best in slot by far. And I ended up getting it. But at the same time, if you do a clear, you do get to choose whatever piece of gear you want. So remember that, because it is very, very helpful. If you don't win the Hand of Justice, you can just buy it afterwards, because you should have 40 keys to spend. So keep that in mind if you are doing it. Obviously, it's preferred to get it on Heroic, but I was looking at Blood Mallet things, which is a ranking of all trinkets for every class. 600 item level Hand of Justice is better than almost any trinket out there that you can get roughly at about a 616 item level. If it's 616, Hand of Justice at 600 is going to be better. I think it's our third best in slot. Also, it triggers an auto attack in a sense, which can trigger Wind Fury. It also causes trinkets to proc more, such as my Void Reaper's contract. And I did some sim results, and currently my Void Reaper's contract is better than my Sac Brood Egg from this dungeon. Now, in this video, I am not running these. This was done on like a Tuesday or something. I don't remember. So I don't have the current gear I have now, but still, like my damage has just improved with this new gear and everything like that. So it's been an absolute fun time. Absolutely fun. I honestly didn't think I was gonna have this much fun as Totemic, but it's hilarious. It's hilarious how much fun I was having. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, so just remember, if you want to play this build, it will be in the description. You want to drop your totem, you want to Ascendance, Doom Winds, cast a Wind Strike, then you want to Sunder. You can see I'm not doing it in this video because this is this is the first iteration that I've tried. You want to make sure you Wind Strike then Sunder, because during Ascendance you're spamming Storm Strike, which is constantly triggering Storm Surges, which is going to trigger Sunder to reset eventually. So your goal is to cast Sunder as much times as possible during Ascendance. It's kind of weird, right? Why wouldn't you want to cast Storm Strike? It's because of that bonus effect from Sunder triggering the 200% damage from the Surging Totem. It is great. Absolutely great. And after this dungeon, you will see my overall. I believe it was only like about 1.4. I have currently got it to about a 1.7, 1.8 million overall in Totemic. But that does depend on pull sizes and stuff like that as well. So keep that in mind. But yeah, you don't be afraid to try things. If you're bored with a build of any class, just try something. Try something out, something random. Look at your spells, look at combos and stuff like that, and just try it. That's what happens. It doesn't matter what the sim results say, it doesn't matter what anything like that says. try it out, see what happens in real time, because that's what's really going to tell. Sim results are kind of best 100%, you know, doing everything correctly. That's why Elementalist Enhancement is so good, is because the Sims say it is. It's because it does it perfectly, right? It does it 100% of the time. If you can't pull that off, find something easier to do. And I will be able to show easier versions of Storm with Stormbringer. So I will give you that in the guide. That eases everything down a little bit. But yeah, again, if you're playing a difficult class, try and figure out the easiest way to do it. That's what I always do. I always find the laziest way to play this darn specialization, because I'm lazy and I want the most DPS for the least amount of effort. And right now, this is kind of it, and it's funny. But yeah. Anyways, guys, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the Totemic, and I hope you guys give this build a try. I had so much fun with it. But do keep in mind, there is a bit of a unique scenario with it. And again, I will be doing a guide very, very soon, so keep a lookout for that. Sub if you want to. But yeah, anyways, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your night or day, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Laters!